never comes in the form or at the point we would prefer.
國際社會繼續留意香港，繼續去反對呢條國安法。我哋希望美國、歐盟、其他嘅國家一齊去反對國安法 ，Stand with Hong Kong。再希望各位街坊、各位朋友經過街站攞一張單張了解下國安法嘅禍害啦，亦都可以支持下我張坤陽，或者支持下我身邊醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明。各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽。張坤陽我咧過去就好有幸可以參與國際線嘅工作，呼籲愛國社會關注香港，同醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊嚟擺街站，呼籲各位街坊、各位好友一齊嚟參與反對國安法嘅大新型一件。國安法係一條比逃犯條例更加恐怖10倍，直接摧毀一國兩制嘅一條法。佢容許中國嘅公安嚟香港設立一個機構，破壞香港自治，令香港人大家想象下，中國嗰啲嘅公安未來可以喺香港嘅機構，甚至可以執法，呢一樣嘢絕對係匪夷所思。各位街坊、各位朋友，希望大家係可以攞一張單張了解下國安法嘅禍害，同埋最緊要我哋要坐言起行，由今日開始。一齊反對國安法，無論加入街頭嘅戰士，定係你係想一齊去，定係最重要就係要用一個嘅工會罷工嘅戰士。各位，好多人，佢一乜好啊？多謝，好多人喺呢度啊，喺度住，我相信好多嘅街坊，你哋都係可能會有自己一個安穩嘅屋企，有一個家庭，都會有一個好安穩嘅工作。所以好希望大家唔好放棄香港。同一時間，如果未加入工會嘅，快啲加入工會啦！除咗醫管局嘅工會，更加係有好多唔同嘅朋友，你哋其實可以加入同一界別，無論係金融嘅、工程嘅，我相信各位一定會揾到自己嘅界別，因為呢一場運動，我哋多咗好多新工會，我哋可以加入工會一齊推動罷工，去推動一啲唔同嘅手段，去逼應我哋嘅訴求同埋反對國安法。我張坤陽好開心可以同醫管局員工陣線余慧明一齊去擺街站，因為過去半年如果唔係有醫管局嘅醫護好夠膽咁樣行出嚟去罷工，去俾好大嘅壓力香港嘅政權，去逼佢封關。如果唔係佢哋嘅努力，香港人咧個疫情咧係一定會再嚴重好多。香港政府係絕對不理香港人嘅死活，次次都唔封關，但係真係因為有一班好善良、好勇敢嘅醫護行咗出嚟，為咗各位香港人，係因為呢一批醫護罷工，逼政府封關，逼政府做一啲嘅措施，佢哋好勇敢行出嚟，唔驚。所以希望各位香港人、各位黃埔嘅街坊，我大家加入唔同嘅戰線，一齊去投身抗爭吧！無論你係街頭嘅，無論你係國際嘅，無論你係想加入工會去睇到，我哋真係缺一不可。一齊香港人眾志成城，我哋先至可以推翻呢條嘅國安法。我係張坤陽，今日好開心同醫管局員工陣線余慧明一齊嚟擺街站，希望各位街坊攞一張嘅單張，去了解下國安法對你嘅生活、對你熱愛嘅香港所產生嘅影響。同一時間思考下，我哋國際線罷工可以點樣去做，俾壓力呢個嘅政權去反對國安法。嗱，各位就算咧你唔係做開醫護嘅，你係其他界別就冇問題嘅。呢一場運動我哋好開心，多咗好多工會，咩界別都有，金融嘅、工程唔同專業嘅界別都有。所以希望各位，如果你未加入工會嘅，不妨加入下，了解下罷工呢一條戰線點做。罷工係人權嚟㗎，各位，罷工絕對係受呢個嘅基本法保障嘅人權嚟嘅。所以希望各位香港人，我哋諗下用唔同嘅方法一齊去反對國安法。我係張坤陽，打開國際線嘅， 今日好開心同醫管局員工陣線余偉明一齊嚟呢度合作，有一個聯合嘅街站國安法，反對國安法。所以希望各位香港市民經過呢個街站，攞我哋嘅聯合單張睇下，了解下國安法嘅問題，同埋最緊要思考下未來我哋點樣一齊抗爭喺唔同嘅戰線。無論係我好似黃之鋒打國際線，定係余偉明去打工會罷工線，我哋一齊努力，一定每條戰線缺一不可。我哋一定係要打到呢條國安法。所以希望各位，香港人啊，各位街坊不妨嚟呢個街站攞我哋嘅單張了解下。今日好開心咧，可以同醫管局員工陣線嘅余偉明一齊去擺呢一個聯合街站。大家好，我係張坤陽，打開國際線嘅同黃之鋒。今日同醫管局員工陣線余偉明一齊擺街站，希望反對國安法。好感謝余偉明呢一啲好勇敢嘅醫護支持罷工，去逼政府封關。我哋香港人先至可能係俾到啲壓力呢一個無良嘅政權係做一啲嘢。我哋知道香港政府係不理人死活嘅，呢一個疫情好彩冇咁嚴重，就係因為有一班好有良知嘅醫生護士行出嚟去罷工。所以今日好開心可以同余偉明一齊擺街站，去反對國安法。因為國安法係一條比逃犯條例更加恐怖嘅法例，更加用眾志成城嘅力量，用唔同戰線嘅力量，包括工會啦，包括國際，包括街頭。包括議會嘅戰線一齊努力去反對國安法。各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽，喺我隔離嘅係醫管局員工陣線嘅余偉明。今日我哋有一個聯合嘅街站，係因為希望去反對國安法。去反對國安法。咁黃埔嘅街坊，我唔知你哋入咗工會未呢？希望大家一齊去入工會。嗱，今次呢場運動我哋衍生咗好多好好嘅工會，咩界別都有。如果你好快啲入呢個醫管局員工陣線啦。但如果你係金融嘅、工程嘅，我哋都有唔同嘅工會去俾大家入。去探討我哋點樣用罷工去反對國安法，唔使驚罷工嘅。其實工會，我哋去搞工會或者有工運，一定係合乎基本法、合乎任何嘅權利嘅保障。所以希望各位香港人一齊攞份單張了解下，好開心今日可以同余偉明一齊擺街站。過去嘅半年，如果唔係因為有一班咁有良知嘅醫生護士罷工，去逼政府封關，所以各位香港人。無論你嘅政治立係黃又好、藍又好，政治冷感都好，其實你都要多謝呢一批醫生護士，佢哋唔驚俾人炒魷，都罷工，希望政府封關。如果唔係呢個無良嘅政權，佢唔會理會香港人民死活嘅，日日都唔封關。所以希望各位香港人，我攞一份單張了解下你點樣可以投身工會去反對國安法，而亦都呼籲各位可以嚟攞我嘅單張了解下國際線。我哋打國際線嘅，我哋去美國、英國，要求國際社會關注香港，我哋係點樣去打好呢場仗？我哋一定要反對國安法，無論係國際線、議會戰線、街頭戰線， 定係工會戰線，一不可，一不可。好多謝余偉明同其他好出色嘅醫護一齊為香港努力，令到香港嘅疫情其實不至於係咁嚴重。
唔係啊，你唔係呢度觀察啊，觀察我係出邊有冇度數啊？你呢度觀察你會死啊！
各位朋友，大家好，我係張坤陽。今日好開心同醫管局員工陣線余偉明一齊擺街站。過去半年，香港人呢，我哋嘅疫情可以受控或者冇咁嚴重，就係因為我哋見到好多好有良知、好出色嘅醫護，佢哋無懼被秋後算賬呢，都選擇罷工，去令呢個政權呢係呢個無良嘅政權係絕對不理香港人嘅苦。咁但係點解余偉明今日會同我張坤陽一個打國際線嘅人一齊有聯合街站？因為我哋有個共同嘅願望同目標，就係要反對呢個國安法，就係我哋要拉到呢一條嘅國安法。國安法係一條比逃犯條例、比送中條例更加惡毒10萬倍嘅一條嘅惡法。佢容許中國派公安嚟香港設立機構，徹底破壞一國兩制。同一時間，國安法除咗會破壞大家嘅政治新聞言論自由，更加重要，亦都會破壞香港作為一個國際金融中心。大家有冇留意特朗普美國總統特朗普制裁香港，唔再承認香港嘅自治地位？呢一樣嘢係一個好大嘅衝擊，因為國際社會未來一定反對國安法，同一時間國際社會一定去用唔同嘅手段，包括制裁香港，去反對呢條國安法。所以你唔好覺得呢一樣嘢唔關你事。當外國社會制裁香港，你仲認為你可以幸免於難嗎？國際社會制裁香港，意味香港嘅經濟會受到破壞。就算你係藍絲，就算你政治冷感，唔會因為你嘅政治立場，所以你層樓咧就跌少咗500萬嘅，係全香港人攬炒嘅。但係點係共產黨去推國安法一手造成？所以希望各位好有智慧、好有視野嘅香港人，攞啲單張一齊了解下國安法嘅禍害，同埋一齊去反對國安法。我係張坤陽，喺我隔離嘅係醫管局員工陣線余偉明。各位香港人，大家好！醫管局員工陣線余偉明一齊擺呢個聯合街站。嗱，過去我哋無分政治立場，多謝支持，多謝。無論你黃又好，喂，執翻啦，小姐。小姐，我哋見住你亂拋垃圾啦！嗱，見住你亂拋垃圾啦，認住呢個小姐。哇！你犯法㗎啦，雖然淨係罰錢，喂，走啦！喂！哇！好驚㗎喂！係啊，啲藍
藍絲咪就係咁嘅質素咯，又亂拋垃圾又衝紅燈。
緊要嘅各位，我哋繼續講翻正經事，唔好俾呢啲咁樣嘅小人啊騷擾我哋啊！咁我哋咧，各位大家好，我係張坤陽。而家咧同緊醫管局員工陣線余慧明咧一齊擺緊街站。嗱，過去咧我哋好感謝一批好有知好勇敢嘅醫護咧，一齊咧去罷工，先至令到咧政府啲嘢去封關。嗱，各位其實咧封關呢樣嘢真係無分政治立場，你藍又好黃又好，我哋都要感謝一批好勇敢、好出色嘅醫生護士喺半年前罷工，政府封關。如果唔係香港嘅疫情一定再嚴重好多。大家睇下歐洲、美國嗰啲係嘛？所以我哋好多謝呢一批醫生護士。我今日我請咗余慧明一齊嚟擺街站，我哋一齊去講國安法嘅禍害。我係張坤陽，過去一段日子一直好努力去打國際線，去美國、英國唔同嘅地方要求佢哋去關注香港嘅情況。但同一時間，我哋都好希望各位香港人坐言起行，一齊去反對國安法。無論你支持街頭嘅戰線、議會嘅戰線，定係國際線，我哋缺一不可。但更加重要係，如果大家你未加入工會嘅，不妨了解下，你咩行業都有㗎。呢一場運動厲害係咩咧？就係、我哋有好多新嘅工會，你咩行業都有，你金融界，你
我又翻嚟，
佢翻咗嚟啊！
啊！呢個係
啱啱個姐係。
啱話啫，係啦。唔驚啊！警察唔係帶走你嘅咩？我唔驚啊！你打警車啫嘛，你影佢冇用嘅，咪全世界都識佢嘅。係啊，你影佢冇用嘅。係啊，梁振英都點名批評過佢，驚咩啫？真係。係啊。驚梁振英都點名批評過我哋啦，梁振英都唔驚你咩？係嘛？係嘛？所以繼續如常 ，OK。我哋咧，各位大家好，我係張坤同醫管局員工陣線好出色嘅醫護余慧明一齊擺緊一個街站，我哋去反對國安法。嗱，唔單止係各位嘅政治啊、權利啊、新聞示威自由，更加重要咧，就係影響我哋香港，我哋好長期建立嘅一個嘅國際金融中心嘅地位。
有邊個影咩？
嗱，各位，咁啊，我哋係一個反國安法嘅街站，咁啊有藍絲嚟挑機啦，咁我哋咁我哋正常嘅辯論係可以㗎，咁啊，但係唔知點解淨係中意影相，咁啊佢又唔拗交嘅，咁我哋可以同佢又即係好中意擺姿勢嘅呢位街坊，咁唔緊要啊，咁我哋係派緊啲街站一啲單張去講國安法嘅禍害，所以希望各位街坊、各位朋友經過我哋嘅街站咧，攞一啲單張咧去了解下國安法嘅禍害。係。
我梗係知啦，使你講。
Fellow Hong Kong citizens, you are now your support to oppose the national security law. The national security law undermines the autonomy of Hong Kong and disrupts the social order of Hong Kong. Where we are now calling for your support to oppose, and that's why we hope all the fellow Hong Kong citizens, all the residents who are living here, our movement, and to oppose the national security law. And we are now distributing to explain our reasonings, to explain our narrative. 大家好，我係張坤陽，今日好開心同醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊擺聯合街站。我哋希望各位香港人咧可以一齊去反對呢一條嘅惡法，呢一條比逃犯學局10倍嘅惡法。希望下未來我哋除咗呢一個嘅街頭戰線，未來工會我哋仲可以點樣做？嗱，過去咧我哋好有好出色嘅
各位觀眾，依家着裙呢位背住張坤陽嘅咧，疑似係藍絲，剛才已經係騷擾咗張文龍議員㗎啦。走咗之後咧，依家再翻嚟張坤陽，佢揸住部電話咧近拍下張坤陽。如果你未加入工會嘅，歡迎各位加入工會，一齊去反對呢一條嘅惡法。
走開啊你，衝落去，走啊！驚啊！未驚過你啊？未驚過你啊？你慢慢影啦咪。
各位我係張坤陽。我係張坤陽。
哦，呢位疑似男屍啊跌咗喺度啦，用手機影下自己抌咗落地下啦。
佢踩到紅衫個飛嘅，
跟住之後我哋見到有啲人嚟挑機，
然後踩到其他人，跟住自己跌低咗。
各位香港人，大家好啊！我係張坤，今日同醫管局員工陣線余慧明咧一齊嚟咧，去辦一個聯合街站，去反對國安法。嗱，歡迎各位街坊喺我哋手上攞一啲嘅單張，了解下國安法嘅禍害。國安法咧，其實係對一條香港咧係一個好有一個影響深遠嘅一條惡法，佢比逃犯條例更加恐怖，惡過10倍嘅一條嘅法例。佢容許中國公安喺香港好明顯係要製造白色恐怖，之後你無端端咧俾人拉咗，你都唔知咩事。香港嘅一國兩制就徹底玩完。所以希望各位香港人、各位街坊經過呢個街站，攞啲嘅單張一齊反對國安法。我係張坤陽，打開國際線，去英國、美國要求外國社會關注香港同埋中共政權。今日好開心，同醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊咧去擺一個聯合街站啦，呼籲大家反對國安法。過去半年，各位香港人而家一定戴緊口罩，有冇諗過點解香港嘅疫情已經算係可以受控呢？就係因為我哋好多謝一批好有良心、好勇敢嘅醫生護士，半年前佢哋罷工，佢哋唔驚秋後算賬，所以今日好開心有醫管余慧明一齊嚟。如果唔係因為呢一批好有良心嘅醫生護士半年前罷工，逼政府封關，香港嘅疫情係一定會。所以希望各位香港人、各位街坊，我哋一齊去反對呢一條嘅惡法。各位大家好，我係張坤陽。咁今日咧好開心咧，可以同醫管局員工陣線余慧明咧一齊去擺一個嘅街站。咁喺呢個街站度咧，我哋係好希望咧同大家一齊咧去反對呢個嘅國安法。好多謝有人支持我啦。
呢位疑似男屍走去似乎騷擾啊張君陽啊。
平反六四，我哋打倒共產黨呢位人嚟支持嘅。各位微博嘅朋友係認住佢啦。呢位人士咧反中亂港。接受14億咧，中國人民同胞咧，多謝你支持我。佢真係支持㗎，佢就支持啊！佢支持打倒共產黨，佢支持結束一黨專政，佢支持平反六四。多謝多謝。各位香港人，我哋繼續。咁我哋呢度係一個反國安法嘅街站，間中有人嚟都幾好小事嘅。但係希望各位依然攞啲嘅單張了解下國安法嘅禍害。我係張坤陽。好開心咧！今日同呢個醫管局嘅員工陣線余慧明，即係之前咧有份一齊促成呢個醫護把關嘅余慧明咧，一齊去努力，我哋反對國安法。國安法係對香港一個好影響深遠、一個好恐怖嘅法例。佢唔單止容許啲人咧係有機會係俾國安去拉啊，國安係可以嚟呢度成立一個機構啊。但係更重要，我哋見到國安法係會令到國際社會制裁同埋攬炒香港。好多謝有位女士、各位街坊，好多謝有位女士係支持我哋反對，希望更加多嘅街坊、更加多嘅香港人一齊嚟咧去反對呢一條惡法。我係張坤陽，你唔使攬我㗎。唔係你知唔知女人都可以性騷擾㗎？嗱，影住啦！你唔好掂我哋，你搞還搞？唔係啊，你知唔知女人都可以性騷擾㗎？知唔知啊？知唔知性騷擾啊？你驚你㗎？我驚你，你驚你，我繼續打我，你攬住我。攬住我而家，攬住我俾你攬。走開！我俾你攬，喂！你夠膽掂我？你驚㗎？你驚㗎？唔好再，你搞還搞，唔好再好埋你個身過嚟。你唔好走嚟好埋個身。有人我又驚，係嘛？驚我真係過去性騷擾。你走開啦你！黐線嘅你都。你搞還搞就好埋個身過嚟啦，係咪啊？各位香港人，其實各位街坊。各位黃埔嘅街坊，我戥你感到可悲，有個真係比較低質嘅藍絲，真係喺圖喺度住我諗。嗱，我哋而家一個反國安法嘅街站，大家好，我係張坤陽，醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明咧，一齊去擺，希望咧要求大家去反對國安法。報咩警察？翻你走咯，走開啦你，你唔好再搞啦。係啊，你估搞得到我哋咩？係咯。 唔好咁天真嘅各位，我哋唔使咁天真嘅係嘛？各位街坊，我哋無懼呢個嘅挑戰，無懼呢一個嘅挑釁，我哋繼續反對國安法。
做咩警啊？捉完你咪放翻佢成。
無懼挑釁，我哋繼續眾志成城反對國安法。嗱，國安法係一個好影響香港經濟嘅一個嘅事情嚟嘅，希望各位一齊去反對國安法。希望大家一齊去反對國安法。咁啊，有藍絲挑釁好小事嘅啫，開心咧邀請到醫管局員工陣線余慧明咧一齊去擺一個街站去反對國安法。國安法影響嘅唔單止各位街坊你哋嘅政治權利自由，更加重要咧，亦都係好影響各位香港人，你哋好熱愛香港嗰個嘅國際金融中心嘅地位。上個月美國總統香港唔再承認香港係一個嘅獨立關稅區，唔再承認香港同中國係有分別嘅。呢樣嘢好大鑊嘅，各位街坊。嗱，你哋返緊工嘅，你哋都知道，因為咧，如果國際社會制裁香港，香港經濟就會被中國共產黨攬炒。所以希望各位街坊，歡迎你哋攞一張嘅單張，了解下呢個國安法。你冇嘢做，我讀緊書啊，我讀緊書，多謝你。係讀緊書啊。多謝你，多謝。我係香港大學嘅大學生，大家好，我叫張坤陽，大家好。大家好，咁啊，大家好，咁啊，我哋而家擺緊一個反國安法嘅街站。嗱，各位，咁所以咧，好希望各位咧一齊去反對呢條國安法。係啦。
係70%咧，係財中係70%喎。
係嘛？係啦，咁你要鬧共產就係因為共產黨令到香港經濟攬炒。各位大家好，我係張坤陽。所以各位，攞一份嘅單張了解下國安法。係啦，多謝各位街坊。係啦，多謝各位街坊。各位街坊，我哋係擺緊一個反對國安法嘅街站。你好，我係張坤陽，而家同緊醫管局員工陣線余慧明咧一齊擺呢個嘅街站，所以希望各位一齊去反對呢一條嘅惡法。咁咧，其實我係未驚過有個咁樣嘅人喺度，係咪？各位，我係未驚過，我哋無懼挑釁，一齊繼續反對呢一個嘅國安法。係啦，咁其實佢可以繼續跟住我，對我都冇實質影響嘅，唔緊要。所以我哋咧一齊去反對國安法。歡迎各位咧攞一啲嘅單張，了解下國安法嗰個禍害。
冇嘢做喎，大家冇嘢做啊！你咁樣咧冇嘢做喎。
希望各位咧攞一啲嘅單張，了解下國安法嘅禍害。國安法講緊嘅唔單止係未來中國共產黨開派國安公安係香港設立機構，更重要嘅佢係會影響你哋嘅政治新聞、示威集會自由。所以香港人各位街坊經過嘅，不妨攞啲嘅單張去支持下我哋。大家好，我係張坤陽。
驚咩啊？
我唔係驚你，你阻住我做嘢。
唔係啊，你放事實就得㗎啦。放事實你屋企啊？唔係啊。
各位香港大家好，我係醫管局員工陣線余慧明，一齊擺一個聯合街站去反對國安法。嗱，國安法咧，佢點樣去蠶食香港嘅政治，同埋點樣影響香港經濟咧？歡迎大家咧嗱攞一張嘅單張。各位歡迎大家嚟攞一張嘅單張，了解下國安法喺點樣影響大家生活。大家好，我係張坤陽，今同醫管局員工陣線余慧明一齊嚟呢度去擺呢個聯合街站。
呢位藍絲疑似藍絲嘅女士咧，騷擾緊一位男士，一位記者。
嗱，各位香港人，其實咧政治立場不一咧，好小事。咁大家可以辯論討論，係嘛？大家可以辯論討論。咁
哇！打人啊！影住佢！哇！做咩你？你唔好見我啊你！
嗱，各位呢個係我嘅街坊。
喂，小姐，你唔好搞，你唔好打人啊！唔好喐手啊！你啱啱見住你喐手啊！我影低晒嗰度就報警。我做嘢就鬧你。
呢位被騷擾嘅男記者聲稱會陣間報警，疑似藍絲嘅女士不斷纏繞佢。
嗱，你哋共產黨就得，我哋而家辯論討論。咁但係呢位女士就騷擾咗我哋咧，過幾2個鐘㗎啦。 咁啊應該都係你哋個黃埔街坊咁啊，感到好可悲。黃埔係一個好和嘅地方嚟㗎，係嘛？咁太竟然有個咁樣嘅街坊啊！相當可惜啊！
想做嘢嘅啫。
但係唔緊要，我哋繼續講翻正經事。
呢一位小姐咧要不停咁阻住我嘅。
各位街坊，我係張坤陽啦。咁而家同你光陣線余慧明咧一齊擺一個聯合街站。我哋好希望咧各位一齊攞呢個單張去反對國安法，打開國際社會同余慧明打開呢個工會罷工前合作咧。因為我哋今日咧呢個國安法好恐怖，我哋需要大家眾志成城，用唔同嘅力量咧一齊去反對。無論大家係加入街頭嘅戰線，無論大家係用工會罷工嘅戰線，大家我哋決心不可，我哋一定要用個方法去反對呢個國安法。
係我你有冇錢嘥？你啱啱警車落翻嚟就冇再炒啦。
得㗎。
咁你係咪要搞到再搶多次啫？
梗係啦。
係咁，你中意啦，我唔阻你啦。
係梗係啦。梗係啦。
各位香港人聽聽下，咁啊有位劉先生，
你唔好搞啲街坊啦。
好啦，香港人，我哋無懼挑釁，我哋係反對國安法。國安法一條咧好恐怖嘅法例，因為首先佢第一可以容許國安喺香港成立一個機構，第二去推行洗腦教育。中國嘅洗腦教育洗腦嘅，其實都成日讚共產黨好偉大嘅啫。
而家咧係要搞嚟搞個幾兩個鐘啦。
所以希望咧各位香港人咧攞一份單張支持下我哋，反對國安法，我係張坤陽家好。係啦。我而家張坤陽咧係同呢個醫護罷工接受政府公關嘅余慧明咧一齊去擺街站去反對國安法。
搞個幾兩個鐘啊，係咁搞我哋。
有啲我佢話一陣過來乜縮縮地嘅。
你走啦好唔好啊？你搞完未啊？入邊有位。
各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽。咁呢個係一個反對國安法嘅街站。咁啊有一啲人嘅係啦，係嘅，其實我哋冇去挑人。大家有啲事情想討論邊度係真係特別順攞住。我哋喺個街度，梗係如果大家嚟交流啦，係嘛？各位街坊，我哋係冇去面對街，但係咧即係騷擾啊呢啲入邊咗。
你搞義工都算，你仲搞我哋街坊啫？知道咪走咯，你搞成啊！你咪影咗啦，頭先影個幾鐘啦你。搞完啲義工嚟搞啲街坊，你想點啊啫？行開啊！我知你咩啫？你都影咗個幾兩個鐘啦，影咗係。你傻啊你都！
你驚咩人驚啊？
咩你走啦你，收完錢搞完咪走咯，啱啱影咗。
我冇錢啊！
係啊，小姐，我擔心你啊，你唔好喐手啊，知唔知啊？係。各位張坤陽，今日好開心咧，同醫管局員工陣線余慧明一齊擺街站。過去半年，我哋可以令到呢個真係好唔人道嘅政府咧，終於肯封關咧，就係因為有一批好勇敢嘅醫護，佢哋選擇罷工，令到政府要封關。所以希望各位香港人咧，都係嚟支持我哋嘅街站，攞單張去反對國安法。今日係一個聯合嘅街站，除咗我哋好出色嘅醫護，亦都係我張坤陽，亦都係有份去希望呼籲各位朋友去反對國安法。國安法佢除咗可以令國安喺香港設立機構，佢仲可以推行洗腦教育，荼毒我哋下一代。大家都知道喺中國入面，你推行中史咧，打共產黨，一定就係日日都話共產黨最偉大。我哋係咪真係想我哋嘅下一代接？絕對唔係。所以咧，希望各位香港人咧係了解下國安法個禍害究竟有幾深。同一時間，我哋要坐言起行。我哋知道共產黨，我哋知道國安法恐怖，但係最緊要我哋要坐言起行。真，我哋無論喺街頭、喺立法會、喺罷工，定係好似我咁或者黃之鋒去加入國際嘅戰線，去呼籲外國社會關注香港，幫助香港。唔同嘅戰線缺一不可。尤其希望各位留意下嚟緊唔同嘅工會、唔同界別嘅工會，都會有一啲嘅罷工嘅行動，或者想推動罷工。希望各位街坊、各位朋友一齊去攞一啲嘅單張，了解下國安法嘅問題啦。同一時間，我哋了解下我哋可以用咩行動 去反對國安法，尤其加入工會。今日見到好多街坊啱啱放工。如果你有興加入香港嘅民主運動，你未加入工會嘅可以加入。呢一場嘅運動多咗，講緊嘅唔係淨係我哋嘅朋友、醫護嘅朋友，講緊嘅係金融、工程、教育，好多工會嚟緊都會發起一啲嘅行動，呼籲罷工、反對國安法。所以希望各位街坊、各位朋友唔使驚，我哋冇事，冇人打我哋。但希望各位攞份單張，了解下國安法嘅問題。我哋張坤陽一直打國際戰線同龍之風，今日同醫管局員工就剩低一班好出色嘅醫生護士，要求政府封關嘅。余慧明好開心揾到一齊擺一個聯合嘅街站。嗱，點解我打國際線？點解會同余慧明一齊呢？我又唔係醫生護士，我係一個大學生。因為我哋有個共同目標，我哋要反對國安法。但係反對國安法係好難嘅。我哋需要每一個香港人用唔同嘅方法。你無論喺街頭，無論喺立法會，無論你制線，定係你加入工會罷工、工會戰線，唔同嘅方法一齊用，多管齊下，缺一不可。我哋先至有機會眾志成城，可以反對到呢條國安落下。所以希望各位街坊一齊攞單張，了解下。我哋好多種唔同嘅單張嘅，有講罷工公投嘅，有講醫管局嘅朋友佢哋嚟緊有咩行動嘅，亦都係有我張坤陽嘅單張，大家都係講一啲國安法嘅問題，例如啲保安啊、啲中國公安啊，係嚟緊會喺香港成立機構啦，冇大鑊。第二，佢可以推行一個洗腦教育。共產黨講到明，今次國安法都係要推動呢個嘅洗腦教育。大家信唔信我哋下一代洗腦教育荼毒咧？大家信唔信我哋下一代係要學共產黨係最偉大，日日都係最偉大呢啲咁嘅廢話？人係有思考自由嘅意思嘅，所以希望各位街坊、各位黃埔嘅街坊，你哋都係一啲好出色、好叻嘅街坊。希望大家去攞一啲嘅單張，了解下國安法嘅問題。多謝大家，我係張坤陽，過去一條國際線。多謝，今日同余慧明，多謝你同醫管局員工陣線余慧明，即係之前咧有關醫護佢哋罷工要求政府封關嘅余慧明一齊擺街站，希望大家反對國安法。咁我哋面對有人挑釁冇事唔驚，我哋繼續反對國安法，係咪？因為我哋嚟緊，我哋明白真正嘅對手唔係呢啲咁嘅人啊，我哋真正嘅對手係共產黨。所以希望各位香港人，我哋唔好氣餒，人見到國安法好驚啊，係咪諗住要移民係嘛？保住，特別各位黃埔嘅街坊，你哋都一定係算係有一定經濟能力啦，係咪？唔好放棄香港，一齊努力。我哋諗下點樣救下一代，諗下點樣救香港。多謝你關心，喂啊，好嘢你，快佢啊，唔使驚，唔使驚，啱緊咋，喂係 OK 啊，多謝你啦喂，係冇事冇事，冇事，多謝多謝，因為而家唔係而家係咗一點樣咧就要唔好意思啊，係啦好嘢，好嘢，多謝你仗義執言，多謝呢位好好嘅街坊，OK OK，多謝呢位好好嘅街坊 ，OK， 各位我哋繼續，多謝你。黃埔街坊其實好高質嘅，好出色嘅各位。咁希望各位街坊啊，啱啱可能放工去唔同地方食飯，攞份嘅單張，了解下國安法嘅問題。咁啊，國安法好有問題嘅各位。咁啊，會損害香港嘅自由、政治，更加重要係破壞香港嘅國際金融中心嘅地位。咁今日咧，我哋要反對國安法啦，我哋需要更加多嘅朋友一齊參與。我哋用唔同嘅方法去反對國安法。無論咧，你係用國際線、議會定街頭啊，同埋最緊就好似醫管局員工陣線嘅朋友，我哋搞工會，我哋加入工會，我哋罷工。嗱，罷工絕對係人嘅自由嚟嘅，各位係受人權保障嘅。我哋罷工，我哋去迫使政府回應我哋要迫使政府去撤回一個咁唔合理嘅法例。所以希望各位街坊攞單張了解，各位啱啱經過嘅街坊都唔使擔心我哋嘅。咁啊，有啲比較低質嘅人挑釁，但我哋唔驚嘅，係咪？因為我哋真正嘅對手唔係呢啲人啊嘛，黨啊，係嘛？咁我哋唔使驚佢，即係淨係影下相啫，係嘛？咁佢咪影香港人驚咩係咪？各位街坊驚咩？係咪？我哋共產黨都係對抗緊啦，係咪驚佢？係嘛？所以各位街坊，我哋攞份單張啦，了解下呢個國安法嘅禍害。你係要係小政府，我哋專門我哋單嚟。 各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽。過去一段日子打開國際線，今日好開心同醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊咧擺一個聯合街站，反對呢一個嘅國安法，反對國安法。咁我哋咧係無懼有人挑釁啦，我哋都希望同各位去宣揚會唔好殘害香港嘅一國兩制啦。希望大家攞份單張了解下國安法嘅問題。同一時間，我哋要坐言起行，諗下點樣投身唔同嘅戰士同用唔同嘅方法去迫使政權回應我哋，同埋去反對呢條國安法。希望各位街坊咧經過我哋嘅街站，可以攞份單張，多謝你去了解下我哋國安法嘅問題，同埋即係未來可以用咩戰士去反對國安法。國際有得，議會有得，街頭有得。好似余慧明醫管局員工陣線嘅朋友，我哋用搞工會、加入工會，同埋我哋組織罷工，俾呢個壓力呢個嘅政權。我想希望各位街坊，啱啱經過嘅街坊，你哋唔知咩事唔緊要啊，其實即係兩個鐘頭前咁啊，呢位小姐已經一直係咁唔緊要，我哋未驚過我哋係嘛？我哋共產黨都對抗緊啦，係咪？咁點會驚呢位小姐嘅挑釁咧？係嘛？純粹係擔心各位黃埔嘅街坊，你哋咁高質咧，就俾佢一個人就拖低晒，係嘛？咁所以但唔緊要，即係我哋覺得搞得街站，我哋面對你哋有唔同意見，大家係可以討論啦、辯論啦，係㗎。咁但係咧，咁啊呢位人士就即係可能佢能力唔係好夠，佢又唔識辯論，佢淨係識影相。咁我點會驚佢啊？但係係嘛？因為即係共產黨有鬧過我哋，梁振英有點名批評過我㗎啦，都我梗係唔會驚佢啦，係咪？所以各位香港人，我哋無懼風雨，我哋無懼挑釁，繼續咧做好自己本分，反對國安惡法，反對國安惡法。我係張坤陽，今日好開心咧，同醫管局員工陣線嘅朋友去擺一個嘅街站，去反對國安法。各位香港人大家好，我係張坤陽，今日醫管局員工陣線余慧明一齊嚟擺呢個街站咧，係呼籲大家去反對國安法。國安法咧，佢唔單止容許公安嚟香港設立一個機構，佢更加會推行荼毒我哋嘅下一代。大家都知道中國嘅歷史係點教嘅，都係最偉大。我哋係咪究竟想我哋嘅下一代變成咁咧？絕對唔係。起行用唔同嘅方法去投身呢一場嘅反抗嘅運動，去加入一個反抗國安法嘅陣營。我過去咧一直去做國際線，但今日好開心咧揾到醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊擺街站。大家記唔記得余慧明係邊個啊？嗱，差唔多半年前咧，我哋有一批好出色嘅醫護，佢哋咧係用一個嘅罷工嘅方法，希望去逼政府封關。如果唔係新護士咧，去逼各位即係佢哋用罷工嘅方式去逼政府封關咧，香港嘅疫情咧可能會再嚴重好多。所以希望各位香港人今日去聽我哋嘅呼籲，一齊反對國安法。我哋需要更加大嘅反對力量去反對呢條國安法。我係張坤陽，打開國際線，今日好開心同余慧明醫管局員工一齊擺街站反對國安法。未來我哋要做咗國際線，我會同黃之鋒繼續反對國安法。我哋更加希望各位加入工會啦，組織罷工啦，或者一齊反對國安法，用唔同嘅力量。咁大家唔使驚啦，呢位女士騷擾咗我2個鐘，咁啊梗係未驚過啦，大佬，係嘛？即係我哋而家對抗嘅對象係共隊，係嘛？所以大家希望攞份單張了解下國安法，一齊去反對國安法。我打國際線咧，都其實已經俾外交部啊、梁振英點名批評過幾次，咁啊驚都未驚過。咁我哋無懼風雨，無懼挑釁，繼續做好本分。我係張坤陽，而家同醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊去擺街站咁拍，但係佢跳舞又唔會騷擾到我，唔使驚。咁佢要打我2個鐘前就打咗我啦，係嘛？咁好多鏡頭影住佢都淨係喺度跳舞咁。咁所以各位時間了解下，我哋要坐言起行。我哋了解完國安法嘅問題，更加要坐言起行。 我哋無論國際線、街頭嘅戰線、議會，定係好似余慧明谷員工陣線，去搞一個嘅工會，去組織罷工行動。我哋工會戰線都好需要，我哋係每條戰線好。所以希望各位街坊經過呢度可以支持下我張坤陽，為張坤陽新年，同埋支持下余慧明。我哋搞緊一個反對國安法嘅街站，希望各位攞份單張了解下。各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽。過去嘅日子咧，我係一直去，我希望呼籲各位。咁今日好開心都請到醫管局員工陣線嘅員工一齊反對呢條惡法。我希望各位香港人咧，各位街坊經過我哋街站上，去一齊反對呢條惡法。我係張坤陽。
因為唔知呢度嘅信號點樣啊，信號好就會清楚。
個問題其實有類似畫面，見到佢掂到我就已經 OK， 同埋搶我電話嘅話。
各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽。過去一段日子咧，打開國際線，同黃之鋒去英國、美國啊唔同嘅地方，去呼籲國際社會去關注同埋制裁香港，因為佢哋夠膽推國安法。同一時間咧，員工陣線嘅余慧明，一個好出色嘅醫護，佢係一齊加入呢個聯合街站，我哋去共同反抗國安法。大家好，各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽，希望今日咧啲嘅單張一齊反對國安法，一齊反對國安法，係啦，多謝你支持，各位我哋好開心，過去2個鐘有一位好有熱誠嘅街坊，一直好支持我岌頭。我講話結束一黨專政，佢都岌頭，咁好多謝佢。呢個絕對都係一個未來反共嘅一位精英嚟，多謝佢。好，香港加油，加油加油！咁啊，我哋要無懼挑釁，我哋繼續做好本分。我哋呢個係一個反對國安法嘅街站，希望各位香港人一齊去攞一啲嘅單張，去一齊反對呢個國安法。我係張坤陽，今日咧同呢個醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊擺一個嘅聯合街站。我亦都呼籲各位咧一齊去攞呢一個嘅單張，係啦，多謝你，多謝。我哋反對國安法，佢頭先咧都好反對共產黨，咁啊我多謝佢，我多謝佢，我多謝佢，佢好反對共產黨嘅執政啦。喂，係咪有私人財產喎？我又驚啦，唉，呢個藍絲又驚啦。各位唔驚。嗱，咁咧佢好支持我哋行動啦，佢好反對國安法啦，支持啦，係啦，佢反對國安法，好啦，唔緊要，佢係好反對國安法啦，好反對國安法嘅，咁同一時間咧，佢都佢承認咧共產黨係一個不仁不義嘅政權，都好多謝佢，係多謝佢，多謝佢，嗌我講啦。係你我講咩你都岌頭，多謝你。咁咧佢又覺得咧共產黨係好獨裁，佢都同意。咁咧跟住就係話佢話要結束一黨專政，佢都同意。咁所以好多謝呢位，好多謝呢位街坊。係啦，好多謝呢位街坊。係啦，係啦。咁所以我哋咧繼續睇呢個國安法嘅單張啊，各位。我係張坤陽，我係。個反對國安法啦，咁同一時各位攞張單張去反對國安法，同一時間我哋可以攞呢條單張，諗下點樣坐言起行咧？你唔好掂我，你整騷擾啊！唔係你整騷擾我，啲頭髮掂到我啊！你頭髮點？影住啊！影住啊！影住啊！唔係你攬我，你頭先咪攬我，你頭先我講中意攬我，你真係攬我攬。乜你唔以為是旁邊嘅我好搞笑？你唔識啊？唔係你唔好警車，你唔好攬嗰啲嘢你行。我咪就係笑咯，我咪笑咯。你使唔使報警啊？有警車喎。有警車啊！ 嗱，各位其實我哋頭先都見證住呢位小姐去拍打警車車門，咁警察捉咗一陣，又今日就係呢位女士啦，佢哋有冇踩我？係咁啊，因為我哋踩污咗我對鞋啊，咁啊，各位香港人，呢個唔使驚，我哋無懼風雨，無懼挑釁，我哋咧一齊咧去反對國安法。咁啊，呢位小姐雖然騷擾咗我哋2個鐘，阻礙過我哋成功派咗好多單張啦，去呼籲各位街坊去反對國安法，都好多人支持，感謝你哋。咁所以同一時間咧，我哋啱啱新加入嘅街坊，啱啱經過嘅街坊一齊反對國安法。同一時間咧，我哋攞個單張了解完國安法嘅禍害之後咧，亦都要坐言起行咧，去一齊咧坐言起行咧，一齊去反對呢一個嘅國安法。無論你用街頭戰線、議會戰線啊，我哋嚟緊會有工會嘅線，因為唔同嘅工會、唔同嘅界別，佢嚟緊都會有行動去呼籲各位罷工。我哋需要更加大嘅民意、更加大嘅共同眾志成城去反對國安法。舊年我哋有超過200萬人上街，我哋去反對逃犯條例、送中條例，最終成功撤回。但係更重要嘅係，今年我哋希望咧有更加多嘅香港人唔好驚共產黨，唔好驚國安法，始終都係咁噶啦，唔緊要。各位街坊唔緊要，係咁我照派。係咪佢冇表達嘢，佢跳舞啊嘛？
傻撚咗啊！
真係傻撚咗啊！一大堆人講賺嘅啦，你有冇講啊？我頭先嗰啲
唔使驚。咁各位街坊，我哋唔使驚。唔係佢係應該有啲問題嘅，但係唔緊要。係佢係有啲問題，但係唔緊要啊。係有問題嘅。唔緊要，唔係唔使啊！你係咪想同我辯論先？你唔好淨係影相啊！你辯論啦！你覺得國安法好啊？所以你唔講嘢咪得咯，係嘛？我哋繼續派。係咪？各位街坊大家好，我係張坤陽，今日咧係拎單張咧去反對呢個國安法。而家國安法咧，我哋面對住條國安法咧，係會影響香港嘅政治集會、示威、新聞自由。同一時間，國安法亦都會破壞香港經濟。上個月我哋見到美國總統特朗普咧，佢係宣布制裁香港，取消對香港獨立關稅區嘅承認。最希望各位街坊，你哋啱啱經過呢度咧，不妨攞啲嘅攤張，一齊反對國安法，加入我哋嘅行動，加入我哋反對嘅陣營。舊年我哋有200萬人一齊上，最終可以成功撤回呢一個嘅逃犯條例。今年我哋需要更加多嘅人，唔同嘅方法、唔同嘅戰線，一齊努力去反對呢個國安法，包括無論係國際線、議會、街頭，同埋嚟緊會有工會嘅戰線。例如醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明咧，佢嚟緊或者唔同嘅工會朋友都會用唔同嘅方法去組織罷工行動。我哋務求公民社會要產生最大嘅力量，一齊去反對呢個國安法。我係張坤陽，過去一段日子打開國際線，今日好開心同醫管局員工陣線余慧明小姐一齊擺一個聯合街站。咁啱啱經過嘅街坊係唔需要恐慌㗎，咁啊純粹係一個人過去2個鐘都騷擾我哋，但係無懼風雨無懼挑釁。我哋係繼續安守本分咧，我哋去做呢啲嘢。搞啲街坊，你搞我咪得，你影住我咪，你影住我啊！你搞。小姐，喂你唔好搞街坊啊！我去睇醫生啦。喂唔好攞。別動！走啦，咪搞街坊啦！走啦！係啦，嗱呢個咪民意咯，呢個咪民意咯，係咪？各位街坊，呢個咪民意咯，係咪？又冇人撐佢，又感到可憐，係咪？我戥佢感到可憐。喂，你揾到個人撐你，再講真心。你一個都揾唔到。嗱，各位街坊，嗱過去2個小時咧，我哋係拍緊一個反對國安法嘅街，隔離同埋岌頭㗎。咁我講咩都岌頭㗎。結束一黨專席岌頭，佢唔岌啦，係咪？OK 得，結束黨專席，佢同意嘅。 今日記住擺上微博啦，係。所以各位街坊唔使驚，唔係我覺得黃埔嘅街坊好慘啊，即係俾佢一個人拉低咗質素，高質嘅。咁我哋係一個國安法嘅街站，我係張崑陽同緊醫管局員工陣線嘅余慧明一齊擺一個嘅聯合嘅街站，希望反對國安法。國安法佢除咗係各位即時傳媒言論示威嘅自由，更加重要係破壞緊香港引以為成功嘅一個嘅國際金融中心嘅地位。上個月美國總統特朗普宣布取消對香港獨立關稅嘅承認，佢宣布要制裁香港。未來更加多嘅國家係會加入呢一去反對共產黨，所以希望各位香港人攞一份嘅單張，了解下國安法嘅問題，同一時間坐言起行。了解完國安法有問題就要坐言起行，無論利用緊街頭嘅戰線，無論利用議會，無論利用國際線，好似余慧明去組織峰會，搞每一條戰線缺一不可，需要香港人嘅參與。所以各位街坊，國安法好似好恐怖，佢係比送中條例更恐怖。尤其我哋而家面臨緊係共產黨，我哋面對黨嘅直接嘅打壓，咁梗係唔會驚呢啲咁嘅流羅啦，各位。咁所以當我哋面對緊共產黨嘅時候，但希望各位香港人唔好驚，我哋一定要更加重視國安法。你唔好搞啲街坊啦，係啊，你唔使係啊，你影我哋兩個好中意俾你影添啊，大佬真係影咗兩個鐘。係唔使搞街坊，唔使搞街坊。多謝支持我哋粉嘅。係啊。係啊，你支持我哋粉嘅。影我哋兩個，影我哋兩個，係影我哋兩個，嚟啊！你唔好搞街坊。嚟。反對國安法，係反對國安法。你唔好搞人啊！你唔好搞人啊！係。邊啲你有佢？你有佢啊！你有佢。嗱，各位嘢啦，翻屋企唔緊要，佢唔會打我哋。要打我2個鐘前就打咗㗎啦，佢一直都係咁，驚都未驚過。單張先，了解下國安法個問題，同埋了解下係佢啊醫護界嘅朋友，佢會做啲咩？即係要坐言起行啊！係，我哋要坐言起行。其實國安法咧，我哋講咗2個禮拜，好有問題嘅。所以我哋要坐言起行，用唔同嘅方法加入工會係一個好好嘅方法。如果大家啱啱放工嘅朋友，啱啱做緊嘢嘅工會，你可以加入。呢一場運動其實多咗好多新嘅工會，除咗醫護界、金融嘅、工程嘅，一定有個工會可以俾你加入去反對，組織罷工。我得啦，出嚟罷工啦！出嚟罷工咪就係啊！一千紅四個啦，出嚟罷工！差不多啦，不好意思，你走嚟呢度做乜嘢啊？你走嚟呢度做乜嘢？你青山醫院住啦，9日晚6號我出咗地鐵站就覺得遲到，你係咪激死啊你話？邊度佢又過嚟馬路瞓覺喎？他不知道該干什麼，他有個點可是也太久了，已經2個小時，有一點點，他已經佢係咁影人咯，唔知佢做乜。唔知道啊呢度，但係冇意思。點解佢入嗰條馬路嗰度瞓覺喎？馬路瞓啦，嗱最好嗱。共產黨派你嚟㗎，共產黨派你嚟香港啊？共產黨派你嚟㗎，嚇？你咩人嚟㗎？你老大係咪習近平啊？係咪習近平個女啊？習近平個女係嘛？你老大係咪習近平啊？小姐咪係個街頭，你點解老公喺後邊？想點啊？嗱，你唔好再騷擾我瞓覺啦，去走我最好啊！嗱，街頭嗰邊睇下啦，唔好再騷擾我喎，街頭。你係咪住喺度？係咯，屋企好麻煩啦。小姐，我哋走啦，算啦，你唔好搞啦，唔好騷擾呢度啲人。係得啦。呢度我哋。佢又會出去馬路喎，又。去搞其他人啦。
買路飯，你一10餐嗰度你都帶食翻片，係咪啊？我真係俾搞到即係打起你其實覺得好中意食嗰個意，係啊，佢似麥雞都好啊，佢似係咯，有前陣嘢啲嘅其實打啲嘅。打火。
唔使啦，好貴，好可愛啊！你睇下幾好望啊！呢個好可愛啊！你睇下，你影佢啦，好可愛啊！呢個冇開落我咧就唔使，我唔使退貨。我咧，
我整呢個錢有着數，有分數。喂，唔好撞到人啦！喂，破壞！嗱，得啦，有證據啦。喂，等你2個鐘有證據啦，好嘢。好嘢啊！喂，你冇夾親人哋點解會喐手啊？睇你整親啊！睇你整親啊！影咗位女士，各位街坊啊，各位公民記者影住啦。你點解有人哋財產喎？嚇？係啊！
我啲仔個個呢啲咁嘅數，大家都睇到咯，都係有破壞人哋財物。
唔係 yes 啊！呢個唔係 yes no yes 啊！你有罪啦，咁咩嚟㗎？咩嚟啊？你驚啊？你驚啊？你驚啊？你驚啊？係嘛？
你頭先打完個警車啊，咁都可以5分鐘之後就出翻嚟啦。
等你好耐。嗱，我而家就收站啦，我而家就真係可以。
你阻住我哋做，你又阻住。
你驚係咪？
做得好文詞。個個嘅都搞到前嘅喎，你都搞咩？
我冇有咧，我冇有咧顯出嘅，但你冇去搞人哋。我話要顯到個靚啲喎，因為我有咧，咁你企喺度冇問題嘅。
如果出咗馬路咧，撞車撞死佢，我又唔出去。係咪？
我哋話咧，即係咁咯。係啊，呢個係個個網啊。
攞份單張先啦，我哋攞單仔玩到多發。
जॉर्डन ले जाओ जॉर्डन
呢位小姐騷擾緊另一位。
好危險㗎佢，快啲行啦，拆搞小朋友啊你！
你驚咩？你驚咩？驚咩啊？一齊講嘢啦，唔好驚，唔好驚啦，唔好驚，唔好驚。好。
人哋汽車嚟啊！
咁我驚咩？
喂，驚唔驚？你冇得無聲捉住我，係嘛？你唔可以無端執住人啊！你唔可以無端騷擾人啊！係佢驚唔驚？
你離峰咧，你冇做嘢喎，你冇嘢做噶咯喎，你為咗呢個收就少咗錢喎。你咁咧少咗錢你收，我唔贊同咯，我覺得。我覺得咧錢唔係我收咯，我覺得錢唔係我收咯，你咪收咯，收吧，俾前線啊嘛，1萬幾2萬蚊你收咯。你收啦，我冇所謂啦，我覺得冇所謂啦，你咪收咯。我話哎呀，唔收咧，哎呀，失業率咧去到係70% 啊，咁 咁如果你爸爸媽媽咧，爸爸媽媽唔在乎你冇嘢做咧，我冇所謂咯，因為唔關我事啊。重點係唔關我事啊。問題咧，我冇所謂㗎。你咧，你自己中意咧，你又咩啦？你繼續咧係為咗呢啲錢咧，前線咧萬幾蚊啦，前線萬幾蚊啦，即係咧前線咧2萬幾蚊咧，你要嗰啲前線我冇所謂咯，我覺得咧係你自己嘅選擇咯，唔係我選擇咯，因為咧，我覺得咧我自己冇選擇啦，因為我冇嘢做啦，我爸爸媽媽咧我冇嘢做啦，我要咧。你聽唔到啦！你要我爸爸媽媽得唔得？喂，你要喂，重點係你要我爸爸媽媽得唔得？喂，我爸媽冇嘢做啊，冇嘢做。係啊！冇嘢做啊，冇辦法啦，我嚇死人啦！200萬人一齊查，時代革命，唔係200萬人一齊查，係啊，嚟啊，可以啊，嚟啊，好唔好？你叫你爹哋媽咪出嚟，出嚟，快啲，一日有1萬喎，係嘛？唔係我其實有棟貝沙灣添啊，係啊，美國佬俾啲嘅，信唔信啊？就你咁你收翻錢啦，咁啊咁恐怖啦！係咪啊？喂，唔係你爹哋媽咪都一人一棟貝沙灣咯，咁恐怖啦！叫你爹哋媽咪嚟先，你咁啊恐怖啦！唔係你叫你爹哋媽咪出嚟先，嚟啦，我都想啊！係啊，而家冇乜人，而家就嚟咗我哋要咯。係啊，要去做乜啦？總之。
Without sacrifice, there can be no victory. We're all put to the test, but it never comes in the form or at the point we would prefer. Without sacrifice, there can be no victory. but it never comes in the form or at the point we would prefer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lana El-Senura from the University of Toronto. 7 years ago, my family and I left Lebanon and landed here in Canada, where dreaming for a better future is possible. Today, I'm the University of Toronto John Moss Scholar with a degree in computer science. I'm honored to have been invited by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to address the graduating class of 2020. Fellow graduates, after years of hard work, sleepless nights, and endless dedication, we should be so proud of what we've accomplished. Although times are uncertain, the variety of our skill sets and richness of our narratives mean that together we need to build, and we can build, a better tomorrow. There are several lessons that I have learned throughout my journey that I'd like to share with you as we look to the future. Firstly, be resilient. I am who I am today because I overcame adversity. In the face of hardship, we must rise up. We need to take criticism as a chance to improve and use rejection as an opportunity to bounce back. We need to embrace change and seek a challenge. Nothing worth having comes easy. And sometimes we need to go in order to learn the most and grow the most. If you're apprehensive of a new experience, think back at how far you've come and everything that you've accomplished, and use that as fuel and motivation to push yourself forward. Take initiative to be the change. Learn about what's happening around you and take a moment to listen. We are faced with an unprecedented pandemic, systemic injustice in various forms, and an unstable climate that is changing life as we know it. So let's ask ourselves, how can we use our education, our tools as graduates, and our voices to make a difference? 2020, we are the leaders of tomorrow. Our vision matters, and we need to use it to make things better. As a final note, I'd like to thank the essential workers, healthcare professionals, our families, friends, and teachers, and everyone who's been by our side and tried to help us as we navigated all of our studies. To you, we are eternally grateful. Much. And now I'll introduce Jordan Gray from Carleton University.
Thank you, Lana, for that introduction. I'm sure, like all of us, the University of Toronto is very proud. Kwe, bonjour, and hello. To be graduating in a time that has set norms aside is to be tooled with the knowledge, resilience, and audacity to address the crises of our current, from health to racism to climate. We graduates have been gifted with a new decade to write the next chapter of our country, of our world. When I gained the opportunity to exercise my right to higher education, like so many, I came to believe I would not make it to the end of my degree. Yet, after presenting my Carleton research on 7 occasions in 5 different countries within 4 years, to join the class of 2020. It is not always easy to succeed when discretion within the academy and beyond favors those who are not Black, not Indigenous, and not people of color. And yesterday's funeral for George Floyd was a reminder to Canada that manifested in George Floyd's killing is often structurally supported by our own institutions. Let us take in the magnitude of this moment, pause in reflection of our successes, and then, beginning of this new decade, roll up our sleeves, for we have much work to do. Merci and thank you.
Thank you, Lana and Jordan, for introduction. Lana, you've completely transformed the Department of Computer Science over at U of T by starting Hello Girl, by teaching workshops, and by working with the Student Union to change the department's culture. And Jordan, thank you for your words. You've done some really important work on marginalized groups and Indigenous languages. You've also done Carleton proud, as well as doing Canada proud, at the World Congress for Undergraduate Research and at the United Nations. Congratulations and thank you to you both. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Hello, everyone. First, congratulations. You've worked so hard for so many years to get to graduation day, and you should all be, but let's be real. This day is nothing like you imagined it to be. And the world is a much different place than anyone could have predicted even a year ago. It's tough. You should be celebrating with your friends, taking pictures in your gowns, attending the ceremony on campus, walking across the stage to get your diploma, waiting for the commencement speaker to finish, and thinking about the parties that you'll be attending later that night. But this year is different, are different. No student gets to choose the world into which they graduate. But if you could, and let's be honest here, you probably wouldn't have chosen the world of 2020. The Australian bushfires linked to climate change, the horrific plane crash in Iran, first mass shooting in our country's history, horrifying scenes of police violence against Black and Indigenous peoples. And of course, the reason we're all gathered here today virtually and not in person, COVID-19, which has triggered the greatest health and economic crisis in generations. A lot of hardship and uncertainty to your lives, and you've had to make unprecedented sacrifices. Totally rethink the coming months, and the normal stresses of graduating and next steps have just reached a whole new level. 2020 has also exposed the limitations and flaws of our world, the world that you to inherit. That can be unsettling and even alarming. But it's also a wake-up call. A wake-up call on how much you are. Because here's the thing. Your generation has acutely sensed what was wrong with the world and what needed to be fixed. You marched for climate change. You had the courage to say, "Me too." You pushed us along the road to reconciliation. You stood up because Black lives matter. You demanded the freedom to love whom you love, to be who you are. Make no mistake, getting a degree is a momentous achievement, but you never needed a piece of paper to call out injustice. You didn't wait for this day to demand change. to create change. Very few graduating classes in living memory will have faced a challenge of this magnitude. But the class of 1939 comes to mind. The greatest generation came out of the Depression to fight a world war that they didn't start. And in the face of unproduction, they chose to rebuild the world by rolling up their sleeves and pulling together. They built the institutions that carried us through the second half of the 20th century. They set the world on a path of more solidarity, more compassion, more understanding. They sacrificed a lot, they dreamed big, they worked hard, and they left us a world far better than they found it. The challenge facing the 2020 is not dissimilar. The choices you will make, both big and small, in the next few years, will decide the future of our country and of our world. And I cannot think of a generation better prepared to set us on the right path forward. COVID-19 has taken away from you, least of which is a proper graduation. The last few months have been incredibly frustrating, but this pandemic is also teaching us. For one, it's taught us just how much we need one another. To defeat this virus, everyone has to play their part, and young people have stepped up. You've made real sacrifices to protect your elders. You finished your degree online. You haven't hugged a friend, let alone had a date, in months. And you help out your parents, your neighbors, your community during this tough time. Whether you're volunteering with a local charity or helping a business adapt to the new normal, you are stepping up. You get it. What matters most is looking out for the most vulnerable, understanding the impact of our choices on others, and being there for each other. This is what these unprecedented times are teaching you and reminding us all. That friends matter. That the people around us matter. It's time that we reclaim the idea of community, of being a good neighbor, of being a good friend, both online and in real life. That is something you are uniquely prepared to achieve. You grew up seeing and engaging with people online who may not speak the same language as you or carry the same passport as you do, but who share your values, your outrage, your passion. You came of age during events like Occupy Wall Spring, the Quebec student protests, Idle No More, and the rise of populism and nativism around the Western world. More recently, you've echoed the calls for democracy in Hong Kong. You've amplified the calls for more justice, more accountability, more equality, sparked in Minneapolis. Understand not just the value, but the power of community better than most. And that's why I trust that you will be the 21st century's greatest generation. What is wrong with the world and how to fix it. Your job is not only to challenge people like me, but to bring us along. It will not be an easy one. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and heartbreak along the way. But to achieve what you set your mind to. You're incredibly sensitive and ambitious. You're also passionate, kind, and empathetic. And you're Canadian. You are connected to and welcomed in almost every corner of the world. You appreciate the opportunities, privileges, and responsibilities that come with calling this country home. But you also know that Canada is far from perfect, that we are still very much a work in progress. And your generation has enthusiastically embraced the hard truth that we have to do better. That doesn't take away the deep pride that comes with being Canadian. In fact, our determination to improve, our willingness to learn, and our optimism about the future is at the heart of who we are as a country. We all know that Canada didn't happen by accident and won't continue. And if there is such a thing as Canadian exceptionalism, it's not the belief that Canada is the best country in the world. It's knowing that we could be, that our work is never finished, that our golden age is always ahead of us. I know the future can seem especially daunting, but believe me when I say you have everything you need, not only to achieve and build, but to be happy. No one gets to choose the world into which they graduate, but you do get to choose the world that will be your legacy. You, the class of 2020, are different. You were always different. Recent events our eyes to what was right in front of us all along. That you care. That you care about each other. You care about people you've never met and never will. You care about what happens next. I know you got this, and so do you.
The nation saw warriors on steroids. African American and Hispanic people disproportionately bear the cost. Blacks are about 20% of the population of Minneapolis, but 60% of the people's violence against. The result is that there are more black people today than there were slaves in 1850. When I mentioned to a young man I mentor that if he should wear a mask, he said he certainly would try, but he wanted me to
have a simultaneous interpretation in 6 UN languages plus Portuguese plus Hindi, and this is thanks to our interpreters who are here with us, and we would like to thank them for their work. Journalists can also ask questions in languages plus Portuguese, and we welcome to hear from journalists from all around the world when we start with the questions and answers session right now. Floor to Dr. Tedros, who is accompanied again by Dr. Maria Van Keren and Dr. Mike Ryan. Dr. Tedros, please.
Thank you, Tariq, and thank you to all those who have joined online. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Although COVID-19 is giving us many reasons to grieve, Today, we're also celebrating a public health victory. Yesterday, the World Trade Organization, WTO, ruled that Australia's laws on plain packaging for tobacco products are justified and are not unfair restrictions on trade. Tobacco, more than 8 million people every year. And Australia was the first country in the world to introduce plain packaging without branding in 2012. Several other countries have since introduced similar laws. The tobacco industry has done everything it can to have those overturned, including challenging the World Trade Organization. Effectively, yesterday's WTO ruling means the tobacco industry has run out of options to challenge plain packaging internationally. WHO congratulates Australia for this victory, and we're proud that legal experts and the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control supported Australia in this case. We will continue to support other countries to introduce plain packaging as one of many to save lives from tobacco. I have spoken about a number of times over the last few months. It's fair to say that this microscopic virus has humbled all of us. By definition, a new virus means that we're learning as we go. We have learned a lot, but there is still a lot we don't know. Every week we speak directly to countries, the media, and the public, so that we can everyone up to date on the latest scientific evidence and the evolution of the pandemic. In Monday's press Monday, my colleague and friend, Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, answered a question from a journalist about to which COVID-19 is being spread by people who don't show symptoms. We have answered similar questions on this topic before. Yesterday, Maria and Mike also held a Facebook Live session to explain what we know and don't know about asymptomatic transmission, and to answer questions from journalists and the public. Since early February, I've said that asymptomatic people can transmit COVID-19, but that we need more research to establish the extent of asymptomatic transmission. That research is ongoing, and we're seeing more and more research being. But here is what we do know. Finding, isolating, and testing people with symptoms and tracing and quarantining their contacts is the most critical way to stop transmission. And many countries have succeeded in suppressing transmission, in controlling the virus, doing exactly this. This is a new virus, and we're all learning all the time. Communicating complex science in real time about a new virus is not always easy, but we believe it's part of our duty to the world, and we can always do better. We welcome constructive debate, and that's how science advances. WHO's advice will continue to evolve as new information becomes available. We continue to work 24/7 to accelerate the science and learn more about how the disease is spread, what best practice contact tracing looks like, as well as the development of new treatments and vaccines. We will continue to talk to states, the media, and the general public about what we know and where there are gaps in evidence and how that's shaping our thinking. we will know what we don't know and what we're doing to find out more. We always aim to be clear about evolving science, and we're committed to accountability for everything we do and say. This morning, I met virtually with WHO's interns from many countries. I was not only struck by their creativity, energy, and positivity, but also how freely they discussed the lessons they have learned. Interns are a vital part of WHO's workforce. Just as they learn from, we learn from them. As part of WHO's transformation, as you may know, we have been overhauling our intern program to increase the diversity of our interns and make it possible for more young people from more countries internship at WHO, especially young people from low and middle income countries who couldn't get the chance to join WHO as interns problems. And I'm really glad to see that the number of people we're receiving from low and middle income countries has increased, and the diversity of people, of our interns, has actually improved significantly. We're also working hard for our interns. We now provide interns with health insurance. And this year we started paying interns a stipend for the first time. And it's the stipend which is actually helping improve the diversity, because we're getting more from the disadvantaged countries. We're committed to investing in young health leaders who will build the healthier, safer, fairer world we all want for our children and grandchildren. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, for these opening remarks. We will open the floor to questions now from journalists who are watching us on Zoom. One last reminder that you can do that in 6 UN languages, Portuguese. If you wish to do so, please be short also and concise, and if possible, have only one question. We will start with the Radio France Internationale with us. Jeremy.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking my question. I will do it in French then. Une question.
So I have a question for the panel, and nobody in particular. But from the beginning of this press conference, we've been talking a lot about the different risks. A risk of a lack of mass, of super spreading events, risk for African countries, the potential of a declared pandemic with weak health systems, the possibility of only having a vaccine in one country or not having full access to vaccines. So, what risks can be left to one side? What are the real risks, most significant, and which we will have to face up to in the coming weeks? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think you've possibly answered your own question with the detail you provided, and I think all of the issues that you've met are issues, and it depends, I think, on which part of the world you're in. The issue of PPE for health workers has not gone away. That is still an issue in many countries. It's still an issue in many countries affected by humanitarian crisis. Not only the PPE, but the training for those workers. And we see health facilities now is coming under huge pressure and strain. Maybe not in Europe, maybe not in North America, but certainly in Central and South America, certainly in other parts of the world. So I think the risks that you outline are all risks. I think the combination of risks and the priority of those risks is, as you referred to in places like Europe now, the hospital system has coped with the onslaught of cases, and now the issues are about travel, the issues are around reopening schools, the issues are around risk management, they're around mass gatherings, they're around surveillance, they're around contact tracing. In Southeast Asia have to a great extent, control the disease in places like Japan, Australia and others, the considerations of government there are more around the re-emergence of clusters and how to safely remain open and then have sensitive surveillance in place to deal and jump upon clusters of the disease when they actually happen. If you're in Africa, and we've seen increases across many countries in Africa in the last while the death rates have been very low, then that the health system can become overwhelmed. And how is the health system going to cope when you also have malaria, you also have other childhood and other diseases that require care? So I think each and every country has a different combination of risks and opportunities at this point, and it's really down to national authorities to carefully consider where they are in the pandemic. It may be affecting the world, but it's affecting each and every country in a different way, depending on when disease came, depending on how the initial responses were managed, and depending on how the disease is evolving at this point. By this over, if we look at the numbers over the last number of weeks, this is still evolving. It is still growing in many parts of the world, and we have deep concerns that health systems in some countries are struggling and they're under a huge strain and require our support and our help and our solidarity.
If I may add, so just to add on to what Mike has said, there are the risks that are associated with COVID, of course, and Mike has outlined those, but there's also the risks for non-COVID related diseases that we must maintain our essential health services and make sure that we have vaccinations that are taking place among the people that need those vaccinations. Those programs need to continue, and we need to find a way to do that. Another potential risk is the complacency, and as we are seeing an acceleration in many areas, and this isn't over. And even in countries that have had the success in suppressing transmission, there is that risk that resurgence remains. And then the last risk to highlight, I think, is that dichotomy between thinking that we must have a public health, focusing on public health or livelihoods. Like, we must do both and find a way where we can find this state in which we can suppress transmission, we can save lives, but we can ensure that people's livelihoods aren't further impacted. I think that's an excellent question that you posed. It's the right one, that requires a complicated response from everyone.
I think it has been said. Just one thing I would like to say on the vaccines. As you know, the WHO is working on how to develop vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. As you also know, there was an initiative that was launched by WHO and other partners on April 24. That was followed by a pledging event by European Commission, President on May 4. And that effort is continuing. And the two objectives are, one, to accelerate development of a vaccine and the rest, but at the same time, to ensure distribution and access to those who need it. And as you rightly said, there is a risk there of, for instance, lack of access to a product like vaccine that we will have in the future. And that's why we had the ACT Accelerator and also the CTAP, which was suggested actually by the president of Costa Rica. And many leaders are now joining to echo to make vaccines or other products as global public good, meaning there should be a political commitment by political leaders to have a consensus on making vaccines a global public good. If there is no political commitment and political support to make it a global public good, then we will have the problem that indicated. So I would like actually your question to use as opportunity to call on leaders so when a vaccine is discovered, that it should be a global public good, and access to those who needs it be ensured. Because the most important thing in ensuring is political commitment, and political commitment by our leaders. So that can address the risk that you said, the problem that you said may happen. And that's why we launched the initiative Act Accelerate as early as possible, so we can break the barriers, one of which is the political challenge we may face, and the political commitment that we need to counter that and ensure access to a vaccine and therapeutic drugs that can help us to control this pandemic. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I hope, Jeremy, this answered your question. And now we will go to Brazil. We have Lara Pinheiro from Globo. Lara?
Hello, thank you for taking my question. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
I would like to ask for the whole of South America in general. Is the arrival of winter supposed to help the given that most of the respiratory viruses usually spread more in this time of the year in this region of the world? Thank you.
I think historically what we do know is that influenza viruses have a northern-southern hemisphere cycle, and we do know we're entering the cycle of the southern hemisphere influenza season. What we don't know is how the coronavirus is going to behave in the same. And certainly there are different parts of the southern hemisphere. There is the temperate south, like Australia, New Zealand, Africa, Chile, Argentina, which would experience an influenza season, much like a winter season in the north. And then there's that central equatorial region in which influenza behavior is not that predictable and tends to persist throughout the year. So there's that, it doesn't behave in a particularly predictable way within the equatorial regions. Data to suggest that the virus will behave more aggressively or transmit more efficiently or not. The other question arises with the viruses like coronavirus is in the European environment, many people would argue that influenza virus is less transmittable in the summer because people move outside, there's less mixing, there are less closed environments with many people allowing the disease to spread. But you could also argue in other hot climates, especially with the advent of air conditioning and other systems, that move inside during hot weather because the weather gets too hot. So there may be risks that are driven by both by climate that aren't specifically related to the viruses themselves, but are more specifically related to the human behaviours that are driven by temperature or driven by the season. Point, just to be clear, we have no indication as yet as to how the disease will behave in future. But in terms of South in general, we're seeing an increase in cases across Latin America, and particularly in South American countries. And each week I've spoken to this. We've seen a persistent and progressive increase in cases in Central and South America, and it is of deep concern. And we need to focus on containing and stopping and suppressing that disease. And if to assist in that, so that's great news. But we cannot rely that the season or the temperature will be the answer to this. It is not the answer. We need to focus on the public health measures, the social measures, the hygiene, and all the things that Maria speaks about and emphasises again, to continue to focus on those comprehensive public health-led strategies that have proven in many parts of the world to be able to contain and suppress transmission of this disease. Maria?
Yes, so I just wanted to highlight our influenza system that we have globally, that we're working with so many member states, so many different labs across the globe, which I would be remiss to highlight that we are building the work as well as the work that we've done. But the influenza network in particular has been in operation for decades. And the labs that are utilized across are the foundation by which we are able to test for. And so the system, the Sentinel system that is in place to look for influenza-like illness or severe acute respiratory infection exists in many countries across the globe. And more than 90 countries right now are utilizing their influenza system to also test for COVID-19. And so this is incredibly helpful for us to build forms so that we understand where the virus is within the community, aside from testing for some. But it is critical, and the question that you highlight about the influenza season coming up in the Southern Hemisphere, it's important that we don't stop testing for flu. We must continue to test for flu as well as to test for COVID-19. And we know in a number of countries, the tests for flu have declined. So it's very important that countries remain systems not only for COVID-19, but also for influenza. And we are so grateful for so many labs across the globe, the surveillance systems that are in place, for the hundreds of thousands, the millions of people that are actually working on this to help us understand where not only COVID, where influenza is, because we know that there will be an influenza season every year. We need this information for vaccine development, so it's really critical that these systems remain functioning well in addition to COVID-19.
Next question comes from Kenya. We have Financial Day reporter Steve Mbogo. Steve, can you hear us? Please to yourself.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, in several African countries, the numbers, but the economic realities are forcing the countries to open their economies. Does WHO have additional measures that they could advise to the governments that they could take so that then we don't have a catastrophe in terms of exponential infections?
Yes, increases across a number of countries, a number of weeks, and over the last week. Thankfully, with that increase in cases, we haven't seen large spikes or numbers of deaths. So crude case fatality rates of 1% or less, which is actually than we've seen on other continents. This may reflect the population in Africa, but also we have not seen yet this disease reach very vulnerable communities and very vulnerable populations, so we don't know what to expect there. We fully understand that, and the Director General has said this on many occasions, there has to be a balance between the lives and livelihoods and the public health control of COVID-19. And there is much that can be done, short of the lockdowns that we're speaking about, an investment, as we've seen in countries like South Africa and other countries, in good community-based surveillance, in supporting diagnostics for communities, in providing adequate conditions for people to quarantine themselves in if there are contacts, in supporting that from a community level up, and in being able to provide adequate care to people, medical oxygen, and we've seen in Congo and other places over the last number of days an increasing number of cases amongst health workers. We can protect our health workers with good training and PPE, make the clinical environment safe. We can protect specific communities living in other situations and try and shield them from the disease. We can improve community-based surveillance, syndromic surveillance, using things like the polio surveillance network, using the early warning and response networks that have been created across Africa in the last number of years, utilizing SARI and ILI surveillance that's been expanded the last number of years, using the epidemiology networks like AFNet, working closely with the African Union, bringing governments together to respond to this. There is a tremendous amount that can still be done and is being done across Africa on this issue. We fully that governments are very reticent to go back into lockdown, potentially damaging to social and economic life. But at the same time, if that cannot be done and that is not appropriate and is not an avenue that governments want to take, there is so much more that can be done. And what we would like to see is the investments in those other things. It's not a matter of should we do lockdowns or should we not. If lockdowns are not possible or not appropriate, and there are many, many, many other things that can be done. And what we would like to see is the investments in those other things, particularly in investing at community level, in community-led surveillance, in quarantine, and in all of the other measures. And I think Africa has demonstrated massive capacities across the whole continent to deal with other infectious diseases. But it needs support. And particularly countries with weak health systems need support. They need the support of the donors. They need the support of agencies outside to come and work in partnership with them. And I believe our African Regional Office, the Africa CDC, the African Union are really working hard together to try and provide that support to those countries in Africa.
So just shortly to add, to say that it's a very good question. It is an opportunity for us also to learn how countries have lifted their the public health and social measures, these lockdowns, how they've done it, and where there has been success, where there have been setbacks, and how we can learn from each other within Africa, and to see what approach did they take. We've outlined different steps in terms of what needs to be done to be able to be ready to lift those lockdowns. But the way in which these measures are adjusted is just as important. This slow and controlled way, making sure that it's data-driven, it's not all of the country at once, maybe in certain geographic areas. And it would be very important, it is very important to evaluate in detail how countries are coming out of the situation and those that are ready to do so. We have a monitoring and evaluation framework, but we need this information from countries. We need more detailed information from you to teach us, to teach the rest of the world how to do this. And I would like, for example, in the situation of having 0 cases, I mean, that's quite an achievement. And I know they're not resting as well. They're ready, to remain vigilant, to be ready to be able to detect cases. But these countries are able to do this, but we do need to support each other and learn from each other. And that can only come from the continued sharing of information across countries.
Many thanks. From Kenya, we will go to Switzerland. We have Laurent from Swiss News. Laurent, if you are...
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, thank you, Tariq. Thank you for taking my question. There was a study released by Harvard University and other US entities based on satellite imagery that tends to show that there was an increase of vehicles in front of Wuhan hospitals as early as last August, and they make the link with the possibility that the virus could have been present and most likely September and October. Do you find that methodology, relevant, or is it a study that you condemn because of that link? Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the question. We work very closely with John and his team in Boston personally, and discussed collaborations we have on epidemic intelligence. It's always I've said this before. All of information we gather is important. It's important that we look at all different approaches to investigation of diseases and where they might come from. But we have to then look carefully when we make associations or we make assumptions as regards what a given study finds. So it's an interesting use of geospatial information. It's interesting to use, and more we're using satellite imagery to track climate change, to track population movement. We're using it to track everything from pollution to other things. So it's an important new instrument that we can use, and obviously now and in the future it will have great applications. But it's really important then that we don't speculate too much then regarding of cars in a car parking lot and then make a jump 2 or 3 steps forward into what that represents, because there's no evidence per se that what was supposed actually happened. But we'll be very happy to follow up with the team that have done this work and look at how they did their study and what the implications are. But I think it's important. We read, we look, and as Maria said, our teams here spend so much doing all scientific information from around the world and doing exhaustive analysis on every source, and we will look at every source of information and we will evaluate it and validate that information and use, to the extent possible, all information in generating public health advice and generating guidance for our member states. But we would stop short at speculating based on these interesting findings what that represents, because that doesn't assist us right now in following this disease forward and in doing the best possible work in support of our member states.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan, for this. We've been getting questions on this from other reporters as well. We will go now to Helen Branswell from STAT. Helen?
Hi, thanks for taking my question, and I apologize for what I'm about to do. I'm going to ask you an Ebola question because it's so hard to get information these days. Can you please give me Ebola outbreak in Ecuador province? There's been very little information coming out of there, and I'm wondering, can you tell me if WHO has received any funding for that outbreak response from the United States yet?
Helen, I don't have the actual numbers here with me, but in terms of the response in the field from Mbandaka down to Bikoro, there are 2 potential points of disease transmission, and I think you probably know that we've begun vaccination on both sites. The imagery and the photographs that we've received from the field show just is to move and operate, particularly in the Bikoro area. It's an area that both the Director General and myself visited many times in the last outbreak. So there are major logistics in terms of mounting the response. Our colleagues in UNICEF and other organisations are with us on engaging communities and building the community acceptance for both contact tracing and for investigation. And we will have updated numbers regarding the progress of vaccine, the number of contacts and others traced, and I'll be very happy to share that with you, Helen, and with the group. I just don't have those numbers under my nose, and I don't want to give numbers that are wrong. With regard to fundraising, we're currently using funds from our contingency funds for epidemics, to which many countries around the world have contributed over many years, and that has allowed us to mount a very rapid response with partners and in support of the Ministry of Health in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And again, I might add that the diagnostics for this, the sequencing of this virus that demonstrates that this is a new emergence, probably from the forest, all of that capacity has come from the Democratic Republic of Congo and its scientific institutions and the Institut National de Recherche Biologique. The response is being led by government officials at both the national and the provincial level, and WHO and other partners are providing operational and technical support to that response. I think it has demonstrated tremendous advance in its capacity to manage complex epidemic events, both scientifically, operationally and logistically. But in the challenge we do face in Equator province is long distances, very scattered communities, many deep in rainforested areas, but connected to the major city of Mbandaka, which is right on the River Congo. So here we have this mixture of a situation that's potentially emerging from the deep forest, but is connected through urbanization to a major waterway which is connected through Kinshasa to the rest of the world. And in many senses, that's a microcosm of disease emergence that we all face collectively. So it's with great to the scientists, the health workers, the public health workers, the nurses and doctors of the Democratic Republic of Congo, who once again stand in the front line to protect the world from another emergence of Ebola.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. And thanks to hear your voice. I hope you're doing well. Just to add to what Mike, just to answer the question about U.S. support, we had a very good discussion with Secretary Azar last week, and he assured me of U.S. Continued commitment to support the fight, especially against, and we discussed as soon as the outbreak was actually reported by DRC, and we hope to work together with the U.S. to